Now today's the day that we have to say goodbye to the Beyonce Whittingham joke. Let's just take a moment of silence. Alright, just one more time. And if he falls in love tonight,
It can be as soon.
His carefree days with us are history.
ensure the power
of history.
No. She's so out of his league. Hello and welcome to the Lion King review. So if you don't know the story of the Lion King, it's basically, Hamlet with lions. You all know the story of the Lion King. Lion cub Simba, he gets born, learns about, the circle of life by his father dies, his evil uncle takes over, he learns how to live in the wild by Timon and Pumbaa, who's a meerkat and warthog, and he learns how to do no worries until he's told nut up and go back home and to actually fight for his kingdom. You all know the story. So this is like a new take on The Lion King. This one's more of like a realistic version of The Lion King. This time, it's directed by Jon Favreau, who did the Jungle Book. And I thought the Jungle Book was amazing. He definitely knocked it out of the park with the Jungle Book. I thought he did a fantastic job with that movie. The problem is, I don't really think he really captured it that well in this movie. Now, I get to the things I really like about this movie. I really liked all of the voice actors. Donald Glover, Beyonce, and of course James L. Jones, who came back. Chiwetel Ejiofor, Alfred Widder, Seth Rogen, Billy Eichner, Keegan-Michael Key, I nearly pronounced his name wrong, Forrest Kusuma, Eric Andre, and there's someone else who I'm forgetting. The guy that plays Rafiki, what's his name? John Canny. I thought he did a really good job. All of those actors I thought did a really good job, and they definitely made the performance more of their own. I thought some of them, and also John Oliver. I forgot John Oliver. And I thought all of them did a really good job of making their roles their own, but still trying to keep to their original self. And also the visual effects were incredible in this movie. This movie, the visual effects are the star of this movie, and that's something that Jon Favreau really pushes towards. He really knows how animals move, the realistic takes on animals, and that's something that he did with the Jungle Book, and he's actually pushed with this one. In fact, I would even say that the visual effects in this one look even better than the Jungle Book. And there are some things that, it's basically the same story. I don't really have a problem with that. If it's not broken, don't fix it. That's kind of the thing I go into, these live action remakes. And I should also probably bring up that I've actually mentioned this before, but I look at these live action remakes as their own thing. I don't really compare them to the original. But there are some it's basically like a shot for shot remake, but there are some new scenes in this movie. For one, there's actually this conversation between Scar and Sarabi. I thought that was actually done brilliantly. And also, the characters do get a little bit more updated as well. I like what they did with Nala. Nala in this one is more of a powerful leader, and the same with Sarabi as well. She's more like a leader. And Shenzi, I didn't expect Shenzi to be this dominated leader, because in the original she was played by Whoopi Goldberg, who does a really good job. But she was even though that she was a leader, she still kind of felt a dumbass. So it's not really, something that most of the hyenas would look up to. But in this one, she's more of a leader. You can definitely tell why the hyenas look up to her. And I like what they did with Shenzi in this one. I'm gonna probably... But if I'm gonna, criticize this movie a bit, because I really don't want to criticize this movie, and it really pains me to say this, but I wish they actually gave more expressions to the lions. Now, just for an example, I don't have a problem, but I also have a problem with this. So I don't really have a problem because if you look at, like, you know, movies like, you know, The Jungle Book, or even, like, you know, Babe, or documentaries like Planet Earth and Planet Earth 2, the animals really give a lot of emotion without actually, like, expressing their faces. So, like, you can definitely tell what they're feeling just from, like, their movements, or just from, like, the way the atmosphere around them works. Especially with this case, giving them voice actors, it really does bounce off, and I think that actually worked really well. However, it does also just make them look like, you know, generic animals. Now, I don't really have a problem with, you know, the, like, Timon, Pumbaa, Zazu, or the hyenas looking like, you know, animals and not really expressing that once, because I actually think they actually bounced off really well. But if you look at the lions, you know, they don't really express, and Jon Favreau countlessly in interviews always expresses how much the technology has grown, and he really does show in this movie. But I would have liked them to push a little bit more further, like actually give them like human emotions. I always picture back of what Peter Jackson and Benedict Cumberbatch did with Smaug, because what they did was they actually they put Benedict Cumberbatch in his room, and they actually, like, you put like this camera to his face, and they actually gave him like the emotions, like they told him what to do and how to like express, and you know, Benedict Cumberbatch did it, and that actually shows in Smaug's performance. Like, he actually gives a lot of emotion. Like, when you see him angry, you see him angry. When you see him intimidating, you see him intimidating, and that's something that I thought Peter Jackson and Finger did really well. But I'm not saying that it needs to go like too realistic. Like, I always imagine, like, you know, what Tim Burton did with Dumbo. Now, just for clarifiers, I wasn't really a big fan of like Tim Burton's Dumbo movie, but I wasn't really a big fan of the original Dumbo, so I don't really know which one's better, and I don't really care which one's better. But what Tim Burton did with Dumbo in that movie is that he managed to keep, like, you know, the cartoonish big eyes, and he made Dumbo like express with his mouth. So when you see him happy, he's happy. When you see him sad, he's sad. Just to give Dumbo a personality. With this one, like, the lions don't really have that much of a personality. And it just, like, and with this one, it just kind of makes them look like a blank slate. And also, you know, the songs are fucking amazing. Again, the original songs are also amazing, and also getting like the actors to also sing this time, and not just getting singers to sing one bit and then the actors to act the other bit, I think really worked really well. Like, J.D. McQuarrie has an amazing voice, and so does like Donald Glover, Beyonce, they all have fantastic voices. But there's one song, and I think if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Be Prepared. What happens? Like, it felt like Be Prepared was just cut out. Like, it felt like it was really cut out and just completely thrown to the side. I've heard rumours that Be Prepared was removed from the movie, and after like a lot of people complained about it, they just put it back in the movie. And I understand why it was cut out of the movie, because Disney did, because of, like, you know, the Nazi imagery. I guess you can't just do that in live action. But if you're going to put it back in the movie, you know, why did you put it back in the movie? Like, I imagine this scene was like, you know, like Scar giving like this big old speech, you know, to the hyenas. I mean, if you wanted to put Be Prepared in something, I remember like this deleted scene. Like, they actually had like this deleted scene between Scar, Zazu, and Nala, where they actually filmed like a Be Prepared scene, and I was like, they could have actually done something like that. It's just like, why didn't they do something like that? And when I sing Can You Feel the Love Tonight, it's not even at night time, it's in the middle of the day. You had like about one thing to do, and that was the thing called the thing at night time. Why didn't you do that? In the end, The Lion King, I wasn't disappointed with this movie. It was exactly what I wanted it to be, but it does also come to mind, it's like, what I wanted from this movie was something, you know, was the Lion King story, but also to give us like new scenes. Like, maybe what they could have also done is bring like music from like the Broadway show as it. Like, I would have loved to have seen They Live in You sung by Mufasa, or Shadowlands. How amazing would it be if Shadowlands was in there sung by Beyonce? That would sound incredible. But in this one, they actually gave Beyonce a new song, and I gotta say, I don't really like it. I didn't like the new song. It just kind of came out of nowhere, and I didn't like it. I didn't love this movie. I didn't hate this movie. You know, I think it's just one of those movies where, you know, I would only really see once in the cinema, and, you know, not really see it again. I don't really have any urge to see it again, and I don't really think it's as good as the original. But all the same, I don't really think I can't really say to Lise not go check it out. Okay, so have you seen The Lion King? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Comment down below, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.